And we are live. What's good, Josh and man DL Saints? How y'all feeling? It's Thursday. Oh man, I'm down here in Florida, yo. There is a hurricane or a tropical storm. There's something pushing through. There's a lot of rain. That's all I gotta say about that. It is a lot of rain right now. And y'all know what I'm doing. A quick sound check. Doing a quick sound check to see what's up with the sound. I had some trouble yesterday, and I want to see if I was able to correct it. So I'm doing another sound effect so I can hear. And we got a good show lined up. Yeah, I was able to figure it out. Y'all know I'm old, man. I be having trouble with technology sometimes. Y'all know what it is. We got a good show lined up for y'all, man. I hope, yesterday, Tuesday was election day. We got the results in yesterday, and people are still talking about it today because we're waiting for final results and all that. We're going to talk a little bit about politics, but we're not going to get into the weeds. We're going to keep it real light. We're going to talk general stuff, and we're going to get into some manosphere, red pill stuff, and we're going to get into the sexual marketplace because I got the perfect brother for that, man, for real. So we're going to have a good time, y'all. Let me say what's up to everybody in the chat. I see you, Brother Mike's in the house. What's up, Brother Jason's in the house. How y'all feeling? Thank you, Steve. I was able to conquer it. Brother Smith was in the house. Good day to you, bro. All the way from down under. And Cody is Kings in the house. What's good, fam? I'm glad y'all here. This is gonna be a pretty good conversation. Y'all ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. So yeah, man, we got some good stuff lined up, man. I hope y'all Thursday is going good. Like I said, if you're in Florida, you're wet. I'm just telling you, we had whatever pushed through, man. It was a good little front. Tropical storm, I think, maybe a Cat 1 hurricane, but that's nothing down here in Florida. If it's not above Cat 3, we don't even worry about it down here. But it is what it is. We're still here. You know what I mean? There ain't no river outside, so I guess it's all good. My daughter's happy because they closed schools down. It is what it is. So let's bring up our guest, man. This is a brother I bumped into, man, rocking out over there on Black Man Unfiltered Network. Shout out to Black Man Unfiltered. Also, shout out to Suzette Speaks. I know she's away on vacation, but she'll be back soon, y'all. Make sure y'all be there to support her when she gets back. And Melanie King, Mel, where you at? I ain't seen you. It's been a month, yo. What are you doing? What's going on? But shout out to her. She's also uploading content still, so go over there and support all of them. Show your love. But yeah, this brother I met on Black Man Unfiltered podcast, I thought he was a real sharp brother. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, all right, you know what I mean? I like where his mindset is. He's a straight shooter, no BS. You know what I mean? He's gonna bring it 100. He also has a podcast, and he'll tell you all about where to find him and all that as we get going. But without further ado, man, put your hands together and make some noise for Sir Charles in the house, everybody. What's good, fam?
Brethren. Can you hear me
How
all
you
right?
feeling? Yes, sir. Audio is good. How you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm wonderful. First of all, a video check. How am I coming?
You good? Yeah. Much better than the last time. But I was like, well, you look blurry as I don't know what over there. Nah, you looking good, bro.
So really quickly, I literally just finished setting up my Comcast. That's my third round of internet service that I've gotten here. So I think I'm all good right now. So thanks for having me.
Definitely, you're welcome, man. Definitely welcome to be here. And let's get it going, man. Tell the world, who is Sir Charles?
Well, Sir Charles the God, I co-host a show on YouTube with my brother, Cam2 Official. The name of our platform is Mindfully Misunderstood. And essentially, it's a men's empowerment channel to whereas we coach men into going about life from a position of power, abundance, and leadership. And essentially, in my personal life, I am a real estate investor, full-time entrepreneur, and all-around funny guy.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All around funny guy. Hey, yo, have you stepped up and made it professional? Because I'm a comedian. I'm a stand-up comedian. So have you stepped it up, or are you just having fun with it right now?
I'm just having fun, man. I enjoy making people laugh, and essentially, I get it honestly from my dad, man. He's a self-proclaimed comedian, and we just grew up telling jokes and laughing and cracking on each other, that type of thing. And it's in my blood, man. That's how we do it. But I don't know if I'm funny enough to really go on stage.
That's only one way to find out, bro. You got to go to an open mic and see. You know what I mean?
I'm going to put it on my bucket list, man.
It's fun, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Even if you only do it one time, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. With your personality, you would definitely get a kick out of it, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I did it. I figured I'd go do it one time, and I've been doing it ever since, man. We're going on 20 years, bro.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, going on. Yeah, I want to say 15 to 20 years. Like, I started in LA. And I still do it. So I'm telling you, man, it's fun. Yeah, it is good times, man. Brother Smeebles, today is Remembrance Day for me, 11/11. So I think that's the same as Veterans Day or Memorial Day here. But Brother Smeebles, tomorrow is Veterans Day for America. We got a Veterans Day program on this platform lined up. And all the platforms I know are doing Veterans Day stuff. So tomorrow noon, Eastern Standard Time, I'll be doing the Veterans Day show on my platform. Then I'll be going over to Black Man Unfiltered and doing his platform, and What We Know podcast later that day. I'll be on his platform. So we plan on doing a whole day thing where we're just going to be wilding out, veterans only on the chat. I'm sorry, on the panels, but everyone welcome on the chat. So that's what's up. Brother Doug's in the house. What's good?
Yeah. And you're a veteran. I see airborne in the background. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, oh man, you're welcome, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. So it was a highlight of my life. I ain't gonna lie. Something I always wanted to do as a kid. I always wanted to do it. I wanted to jump out of airplanes. I wanted to be a Marine because they had the best uniforms, and I watched all the Marine movies growing up. But the Marine Corps doesn't guarantee any type of training. So when I went to enlist, like, we can't guarantee you airborne, but you can get in and you can try to do it. I'm like, nah, I ain't on that, bro. I went right to the Army, man. It's like maroon beret, jump boots, and I had cousins who were airborne. So it was like, yeah, United States Army for me, airborne, had it all on my contract, and that was it. That's what I joined for, to jump out of airplanes. I was an air traffic controller, so I was a combat air traffic controller, which to me, I'm like, that's cool, but I just wanted to jump out of airplanes. Good thing I chose that field because that got me into the FAA once I left the Army, and I did 20, 25 years as an air traffic controller in the FAA, and now I'm retired. Now I'm doing this.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, so my dad, being a Vietnam vet, and most of us know the story about how the Vietnam vets were treated, especially when they came back stateside, and
Yes.
my dad didn't really appreciate that. So he's like, hey, you're gonna do something else other than join the military. But you know what? I always had an affinity for Navy SEALs, man. I wondered if I could do that training. And I know they do provide like training like for civilians to maybe try and that's one thing I want to put it on my bucket list to see if
that's hard to duplicate. That kind of training, like, and everybody talks about Navy SEALs training, they're talking about BUDS, right? Basic underwater demolitions, right? That's what it's all about. Hell Week and all that. It's hard to do that in the civilian world. You'll have to sign a lot of waivers because you can die. Because you spend all that time in the water, and hypothermia is a real thing. You could die. So it's hard for civilians to want to do that. But is the training out there? Yeah. Are there places you can go and get something similar to it? Yes, but there is no duplicating what those dudes go through.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm just saying, based on what I can do, from especially being my age, trying to see what I have access to. I know they have training that kind of may be close, but not really. But I often want to see if I can do that.
Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, it's not even kind of maybe close. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, the type of training, when you talk about military training, it's tough as it is. But when you're talking about that type stuff, like tip of the spear stuff, you're talking about SEALs, right? You're talking about Green Berets, you're talking about Rangers, like the scrolled out Rangers. Mm-hmm. Their training it's something. It's something to behold. Trust me. And it's a whole new level of suffering, especially the SEALs, because the SEALs want to weed out quitters. All their training is based on, we want to get rid of the guys who quit. That's it. That's the difference for me. Like, the difference between SEALs and all the other operators is SEALs don't quit. Like, those Green Berets, they're just as tough as SEALs and the Rangers and the Recon Marines and MARSOC Marines and all that. All those dudes are cut from the same cloth. But a SEAL, like, that guy could die. You can bring him back to life, and he'll pop up and continue on with the mission. Whereas everybody else, like, give me a minute to catch a breath. Nah, the SEAL's right back. And the Delta Force guys, which Delta Force doesn't exist technically. They don't exist. The United States military will say we do not have a Delta Force, but I can take you to the training compound.
For a fact.
For a fact. But those type dudes, man, that's what they look for. The higher you go, they're filtering out for those dudes who just don't quit. That mentality, like they're like human cyborgs, man. Like they don't stop. And you want them on your side, trust me. Those are the kind of guys they coming. Oh, who's coming? All right, good. We set. You know what I mean? Because they ain't gonna stop. But yeah, man, you know, if I come across something, I'll let you know. But those places, there are a lot of places out there that advertise that sort of training, military style training is down the third, and they'll charge you a lot of money. And all they'll do is have you sit in a tub, you know what I mean, not feed you for a day, make you walk around and run around, and then you think you did something. You know what I mean? It is, you know, for those dudes who buy it, hey, good for you. Matter of fact, if you know anybody looking for it, I could come up with one of those courses.
I've actually seen a couple of organizations essentially advertising on like Facebook, Instagram, and I think, you know, it's all tied in with the Google algorithm. So, you know, I apparently I Google this stuff a little too much because
yeah, that's all you saying.
Yeah. You know, because one of my quotes that I got that I live by, and I know in the manosphere it's kind of triggering, but the whole suffer in silence mantra, and I think I understand what that means, and I kind of I've applied that to my own life, to whereas, you know, I mean, if you got a mission to do, and I firmly believe that men, especially as it pertains to masculine men, should always be on a mission. And you know, hey, during that mission, you might hit a snag. It might be a woman to go bad on you, or you know, or relationships with your kids might go bad, but you still have to keep it pushing. And it's not all about your feelings. So, F how you feel. Can we curse on here? I don't know.
Yeah, you sure can, bro.
Okay. I mean, you know, essentially, it's fuck how you feel. We have to keep it pushing, and that's essentially been my mantra. Suffer in silence, because it's not that I don't feel certain things that life dishes out, but essentially, I can't let it overtake my emotions to the point where I'm paralyzed, or where I don't make a move, or I sit still, and we got to keep it pushing. So, suffering silence, that's what it means for me. Now, I know some other men think about, well, you bottling it, you shouldn't bottle it up, missing that. And I made a post on Facebook not that long ago. I was talking about how, you know, certain feelings. Well, I agree. Men shouldn't bottle things up, but also, you know, why even internalize some of those feelings in the first place? And that's my thing. I don't even internalize certain feelings to even bottle them up.
Yeah. So, well, you got your team, so there's no need to bottle them up. You have your team, and that's the thing. Like you suffer in silence. We use embrace the suck. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna go out on some missions, it's gonna go bad. It's gonna suck. It's like in the military, man. It's like, if it ain't raining, it ain't training. You know what I mean? If it ain't snowing, we ain't going. We know it's gonna be hard going out there. We know it. We know it's going to suck, man. You know what I mean? And then you take that, translate that into civilian life. Yeah. And it's like, well, internalize it. Well, you know, there's a bit of that, but you have your team. You know what I mean? You have your clan that you could go to, your dudes, your fellow warriors. You're not gonna take it, all this stuff, to the women. That's one of the things that the Manosphere preaches, especially on the Fresh and Fit platform. Shout out to Fresh and Fit, Myron and Fresh. I see y'all, you know what I mean? But they say it all the time. Don't go with your problems to your woman. You know what I mean? Especially when you first getting started with women. Like, tell her what's going on and tell her the solutions, but don't go crying to her like, oh, baby, I don't know what to do. I just lost my... She won't want to deal with you no more. You know what I mean? She's going to lose attraction for that. That's not what she's into. If you're going to be, you know, you want a little bit of that stoicism, right? You want to have the answers. And you can't be crying just because the shit gets hard. You know what I mean? So when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. That's, you know, I agree with that. You know, some stuff on the Manosphere side that I don't agree with, but I'm 95%. I'm right there. You know what I mean? Brother Doug's in the house, man. What's good, fam? Jesus. Oops, wrong button. It's like the Black Manosphere is creating more men into Republicans. We're gonna talk about that. Yeah, I'm starting. I've seen that trend. I'm just gonna catch up with the chats real quick, man, and I got some questions for you, Sir Charles. Like I said, we're gonna have a good time. Brother Smeagol's, yeah, Australia is in the future. I see people just going back in the chat. You know what I mean? And I like seeing that, man. Miss Globe Girl's in the house. Oh, my favorite sailor is in the house. Yo, Miss Globe Girl, I'm glad you're here. Please, please, please. Show up tomorrow at noon if you can. We want to bring you up on the panel when we do the veteran show. You don't have to cam up, love. We just want to have your voice on there. You know, we want to talk about your experience in the Navy. I know you got a few tours under your belt, and that's going to be for our veteran show tomorrow. If you can, we're going on at noon, but we're going to be on other shows as well. Black Man Unfiltered, you know what I mean? What We Know podcast. I would love to have you up and hear your experiences in the United States Navy. Real talk. Good to see you. So yeah, let's get into it, bro. Mm-hmm. tell me, because you're from Chicago, right? And if the one thing everybody knows about Chicago is it's lethal. Southside Chicago ain't nothing to fuck about with, right? You know what I mean? So what was it like growing up in Chicago, bro?
You know what? It kind of reminds me of when I was a kid and I heard a lot of stories about LA. The Crips and the Bloods, and when Ice-T came out with the colors, and I'm like, dude, I do not want to go to California because everybody's getting killed, and I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna be wearing the right colors and all, but I tell you what, I definitely seen a lot of violence, but it doesn't really compare to the beauty that Chicago has to offer. I mean, and
that's something I've never heard before. Tell me about that.
Oh man, I mean, Lake Michigan, all up and down Lake Michigan, essentially. And there's some, I still don't know why some of the parts along Lake Michigan are still hood, but even those areas have nice beachfront, lakefront properties, and boat rides, yacht parties, jet skis, that type of thing, canoeing, kayaking along the Chicago River, the boat dinners. That's a lot of stuff that we do along the lake. But even get away from the lake. I mean, you got the nightlife is incredible here. In fact, I just not that long ago spent the weekend at a hotel, and just doing a little staycation here, and everything was beautiful, man. I mean, the food, the stay. There's really a lot of beauty that Chicago has to offer, and I try not to buy into the whole Chirac thing, because everybody who grew up here, we know where that stuff takes place. Now, anything is possible anywhere, but stay away from the places where it's likely. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Everybody know where the hood at. Everybody knows where it jumps off. I feel you. And I lived in LA for about 25 years. When I got hired into the FAA as the air traffic controller, I was sent to Van Nuys, which is in Southern California, San Fernando Valley. And I mean, I know dudes, I know guys that are gangbangers. Like, I know dudes is like they bout that life. They cool cats. Here's the thing. I never put myself in it. It's like you said, we know where it is. You know what I mean? So don't go down there. People are like, hey man, you want to go to Watts? Nah, man. First of all, I'm not from Watts. Secondly, I wouldn't want to go over to my hood right now. I've been gone for so long. You know what I mean? Because the streets keep moving. It ain't like it's gonna slow down for you or give you a pass, let you catch up. Like you get caught. You caught. So I'm like, nah, bro, I'm gonna stay over here. You know what I'm saying? Where the gated communities are. I'm gonna stay in my lane, bro. I watch this on TV. I'm not going over there. And I guess that's what I'm hearing you say. Yeah, Chicago is bad, but it ain't bad everywhere. You're not gonna be at the Sears building ducking bullets.
And that's the thing. Good news doesn't sell well. So you're not gonna hear a lot of good news reported from Chicago because sex and violence is what keeps people attention. Keeps you locked in. But I will say this, and for those people who don't know me and who may know me a little bit, I don't cap. I don't aggrandize myself or try to put my situation on a pedestal that it's not on. I know a lot of people try to act like they got street cred out here, what have you. And listen, I'm telling you, I participated in the gang culture, the drug culture for a while, and it was purely by peer pressure. I know it because I come from a good home. My father worked at the phone company 43 years. My mother was a church woman. She had us in church every Sunday. Anytime the doors church was open, the church doors were open. We was in the church. But when I went to my cousin's house, we got to it, and it was a lot of peer pressure. My friends, peer pressure there, and you see everybody else doing things, and it's kind of like, hey, easy money. I want to participate. Gang banging. Wow. It's kind of like you grew up in it. And so as far as like the gang thing, it's kind of like, we grew up playing and then it got more serious as time went on. And luckily for me, which is a tragedy and a gift at the same time, I had 2 kids before I graduated high school and they changed my life because my father actually called me gang banging on the corner of 119th and Halsted. And that coupled with the fact that I had my daughters, I was like, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
And it was stupid. And I didn't admit it until I'm 45 right now. I honestly didn't admit it until I was 30 that I was being a follower at the time. I didn't have to do those things. But I will tell you this. that being around that created a warrior spirit in me. And that's what a lot of these street guys have that's needed in our community. I wouldn't say necessarily going to war with each other, but the warrior spirit. It can be very useful, and a lot of guys who have turned their lives around into something positive, but still maintain that warrior spirit, have proven to be an asset to the community. So I learned some lessons there, man. But also I think maybe me having a praying mother allowed me to be able to talk with you today.
Yes, sir. Because it only takes one moment, bro, to get caught up. I ain't like, and there's a lot of people out there who, you just being honest, man. There's a lot of people out there who get caught up via peer pressure into that gang life. Luckily, when I grew up in Cincinnati, it wasn't about no gang banging, man. Either you was a hustler or you weren't. You know what I mean? You had hustlers out there, you had players out there. You know what I mean? But it was no, you know what I mean? Your neighborhood was your neighborhood, but it wasn't about no colors or nothing like that. That didn't occur until after hip hop got real popular. And again, kids want to be a part of something. So that's when you started seeing rags. And you would have like Midwest gangs like GDs, and then you would have like Bloods and Crips, and you would have like Latin Kings, and like these different groups started showing up in Cincinnati, which didn't even make sense. Like, how we gonna have Latin Kings? We barely have any Latin people here. You know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is. People wanting to be a part of something. People looking for leadership, right? And that's real talk. But there are people who get involved in that world because, you know what I mean, some set done hurt they family. Oh, these people done, them people wearing them rags, kill somebody in my family. So I'm gonna get on with these guys over here so I can go get that get back. But it is what it is, and it's horrible, it's tragic, but you are right. What they walk away from all that, they take away from that is just being a man. Like, like that warrior spirit, you know what I mean? Masculinity, and people like, oh, that's bad, that's toxic. I'm like, nah, man, you got to be able to stand your ground as a man, period. You know what I mean? Brother Hayoka's in the house. What's good, fam? You got to be able to stand your ground. So let's transition into, I know we're going to talk about politics at the end. I was going to put it at the front, but now we're going to move it to the back because we're on some good stuff here, man. Let's talk about the red pill in the manosphere space. And you said you are familiar, yeah?
Somewhat familiar with red pill. I don't necessarily subscribe to it, but I think I know enough to carry a conversation about it.
Right. And it basically revolves around some of the points that we were making here, about being a man, about stepping up, about being accountable and stuff like that. Now, there's of course some bad stuff to it. Most of the guys that I've come across who've gotten into the red pill space, gotten into the manosphere arena, they get there because they got ran through by some woman, right? They went out there, there was the girl of their dreams, they did everything they were supposed to do, and she finessed the hell out of them. And then they get mad, right? You know what I mean? Like, oh, they hate all women or whatever, or they try to figure out what happened. I ain't gonna lie, that's how I found it. I was trying to figure out, what is this? You know what I mean? I had a situation where you had the ghosting thing. I didn't know what that was. I had to look it up, and that's what led me to, Donovan Sharp and Coach Greg Adams and Rich Cooper and Fresh and Fit. You know what I mean? So and a slew of others. So that's how I got into the space, and I started listening to them. So one of the things I am starting to notice is that there's a lot of people in the red pill space that it's kind of come off real conservative. And you know what I mean? Like they get into red pill space, their eyes are opening up to certain things, and they become a little more conservative, which I don't think is a bad thing. In fact, I think it's a good thing. But I'm wondering, are they becoming conservative because the left is too woke and they're pushing them away? What do you think about something like that?
Honestly, the first thing that comes to my mind is when you're talking about the red pill community, typically we're thinking about people that we see who are prominent in these YouTube streets, right? Yep. Which means they're probably getting to some money. Which means people who are getting to money typically lean toward Republicans because they're friendly. The tax laws or whatever that they push and back are friendly toward people who make money, the higher income earners. Quite frankly, that's the way I see it. I know some people might be triggered, but the Democrats tend to pander or cater to the people who are on the lesser end of the income spectrum.
Just keep it 100. Broke folks, man. Broke folks seem to advantage. They get the advantage from the Democrats. It seems you're going to get more handouts, more policies, more programs going to come from the Democrats. But then they say Republicans only take care of the rich. So I'm gonna just keep it 100.
Yeah. I mean, and now and it ain't even just necessarily rich, it's higher income earners, 6 figures or more. And which you and I both know. I mean, just entering into the 6 figures really ain't no big deal. But you look at the world a little bit differently from people who are essentially struggling. We're not necessarily looking for handouts. We're looking for tax shelter. And so I think that, to me, that may be the thing that ties it together. Because these people in the YouTube streets are making money now. So hey, you want to protect that. Essentially, here's the other thing. Like, I grew up in a home where voting Republican could get you ousted from the family, get you disowned.
Wow, get you kicked out.
I mean, I'm speaking in extremes, but yeah, you could essentially be pop side eyeing you if you vote Republican. But at the end of the day, if you get out into the world and you start experiencing the business world, and you realize how demographically diverse it is, you start meeting, you start getting outside your circle, and you start to look at the world a little differently. And I think essentially same thing, politics and religion. You're actually going about these things based on the filters that you have in your mind, right? And so if you're out in the business world, you might have less filters because you experience being around money. You experience being around people of other races. However, if you're looking for handouts, then all you thinking is, give me, Democrat, whatever the Democrats have to, hey, look out for me. I need programs. I need this and that.
Right.
And I'm saying it actually shapes the way you look at the world. And so
that's good facts. That's real facts right there. Cody is king. Brother Cody has a question for you. He was like, Ed DL, can you ask the guest for his definition of red pill? And I'll go first just to give you. So the red pill world, and when I look at this or I hear questions like this, man, there's so many different definitions for red pill. I don't know what the official definition is. Maybe Brother Cody will be able to clear that up for me. But I'll give you my take on red pill, and then you can give us your take on red pill. I look at red pill like the movie Matrix in the way it was truly intended. You're unplugged. Like, you truly see the code. You understand what's going on. So when I talk about religion, I'm red pilled in religion because I understand that. I'm red pilled in finance because I understand that when it comes to tax codes, when it comes, the difference between the people that have and the have-nots and the have-yachts. When it comes to the sexual marketplace, I understand hypergamy. I understand that dudes are trying to smash, and I understand that women are trying to get the best guy that they can, and I accept it. You know what I mean? There's this thing, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, the 80-20 rule. I understand that most women don't see the majority of men. 80% of men are invisible to most women because they only see the top. You know what I mean? So that's my definition of red pill, just being completely aware and accept the situation as it is. So how do you look at red pill?
Essentially, you took the base of my definition. We always go back to the movie The Matrix, whereas your eyes are open. It reminds me of when Morpheus, he was having a conversation with Neo, and Neo was saying that his eyes were hurting, and Morpheus said, "That's because you never use them."
Right. So it's a great line.
Yeah, you're opening your eyes and you're seeing things for what they really are. Now, essentially, this is why it's a little confusing for me, because listen, bro, I got hella books. This is just a portion. 90% of my books are about mindset, right? And one thing that's real for me is your reality is what what you feed your subconscious mind daily. And so whereas you might have men who have certain troubles with women, other men don't have those problems. Essentially, it's like the 80-20 rule. 20% of the men get 80% of the women. It's the Pareto distribution. And so what is reality? I think in my mind, reality is subjective. It's what you deem it is, and because that's what's real for you. Like, I can tell you about my experience with women, and it may be far different from another man's, and so rightfully so. So now here's the thing, though: is red pill somehow tied to MGTOW?
That all falls. Okay, this is just me again. y'all, Lord knows I'm no expert, right? But from what I gather, from what I've been seeing, I've only been in this space for, I don't know, maybe a year now. The MGTOW movement, men going their own way, to me, and again, someone that had to correct me in the chat before when I was talking about MGTOW, that's like a subset. It's within the manosphere, right? And these are guys who are just like, you know what? The juice isn't worth the squeeze. Shout out to Rich Cooper. I don't want to deal with these women. I am going to go my own way. I'm just not steadying these chicks, right? And I do believe that some guys who with that mindset will engage with a woman if she follows him. Like, well, I understand you've gone your own way, but I'm really into you, so I'm going to come and submit to you. I think those guys would actually deal with that woman. I don't know much about that MGTOW movement, bro. It just seems like it's a lot of dudes who just threw their hands up. It's like, man, I'm done with this. It's not worth it. I'm going to meet some woman, maybe get married, and it's not going to work out. She's going to divorce me in 7 years and take half my stuff. You know what I mean? I'm going to lose access to my child. It's like the worst case scenario click. You know what I mean? That's how I look at those dudes. But you have people like Coach Greg Adams who's like, man, just that free agent lifestyle. Like, man, forget this. You know, try something different. And that brings me to the next point. So since we're already talking about it, let's talk about dating in the U.S. Is it worth the effort, in your opinion? Is the juice worth the squeeze here in the U.S., or should men look elsewhere, in your opinion?
Okay. So I'll say this. You know, my mother used to, her even being a church woman, she would say, if it smells like shit everywhere you go, then damn it, it's you. You know, essentially, if you're striking out, I don't know how many women are here in the U.S., but if you're striking out with all these women here in the States, I would surmise that you would probably want to look in the mirror as opposed to looking elsewhere, because I certainly believe that, you know, if you're striking out here, you're probably going to strike out there. Now, here's the thing. You're going to countries who are perhaps third world. You know, you're going to the tourist area, but they live in a tin shack. Yeah, they're going to finesse you for the bread. I was looking at this, and I'm going to try my best to answer your question. I was looking at this YouTube show, and this guy had went to Brazil. He was in Brazil, and the Brazilian woman, you know, she finessed him. She pretended that she was all into him, and you know, gave him a little drinky drink, and he woke up robbed in a motherfucker. You know, he was hey, she ain't leave him nothing but his spirit, man. She took his dignity. And so essentially what you're doing is, when you go into other cultures and trying to snatch up their women, you got to be very careful, because you don't know the culture, and you got to believe in your mind that someone from another land they might be looking for something from you, and it might not go as smoothly as you think. So me personally, I'm a proponent of look in the mirror first. You know, essentially, when you look in the mirror and your hair is all disheveled, right? You're gonna comb the mirror. You comb the mirror because that's just a reflection. And I certainly believe, because you know, everything that I soak my brain into is all about what you feed your subconscious mind becomes your objective reality. I certainly believe that if I'm striking out with every woman, then I need to change something about me, perhaps. I don't want to go to another land and try to, and then you risk getting hogtied butt naked, and you know what I'm saying? And now you
get wrecked. And you got a good point there, because that right there, what you're talking about, getting finessed, right? You know what I mean? Or like brother Andrew Tate says, man, like, you know, falling for the famoose, right? Like when you get a woman who does that to you, yeah, you got to look in the mirror and be like, man, okay, that's me. A lot of American men don't do that. You're absolutely right. They get wrecked a half a dozen times, and then they fall down the rabbit hole of the manosphere. And they, you know, they get some red pill content, and, you know, they might, you know, depending on how bad it is to them, they're going to wind up in one of these different factions, you know what I mean, within there, because, and that's what Brother Hayek was saying, there are many factions within the men community, right? So when I see that, and I talk to a lot of these young brothers, like, look, man, I say what you say, man. It's all about, you know, self-reflection, right? Self-assessment. Like, okay, you ain't getting any chicks. Why? You know what I mean? Oh, because all these American women ain't no good. They smashing somebody, bro. They just ain't smashing you, right? Especially now. These young dudes, I tell them now, it's never been easier to get sex. You know what I mean? From these young ones, because they so loose. You know what I mean? Like society got on this boss babe, this, you know what I mean? This hot girl weekend, hot girl summer, whatever. They loose right now. Like if you can't get it now, you know, bro, like you ain't never going to be able to get it. It has to be you. This is how you get better. And you give them books to read and, you know, shows to watch and this, down the third. So you're right. But a lot of people want cheat codes, man. They don't want to sit down and do the hard work. Like you said at the top of the show, man, it's all about embracing the suck, bro. It's you know, it's hard. It's a reason they want the top 20. There's a reason women want the top 20%. It's a reason for that. You got to make yourself the top 20 and they're going to come see you. As far as these good dudes, like the passport movement, right? I think these guys are doing it because it's easier. The guys want some sort of relationship. I believe that most men, most if not all men, they want a relationship. And when you're talking about that bottom 80, those bottom 80 dudes, they really want a woman. They don't want to be out here running through them. They don't want to be a player. They don't want to be a top G. They want to work hard, come home to a woman who respects them and is going to like cook, clean and all that good stuff and maybe work too, take care of the kids. They'll work themselves to death to get that life. That's what most dudes want. But that guy can't get any access at all from a woman and he gets frustrated and he falls down that rabbit hole. Well, I'm going to get a passport and I'm going to go to Colombia. Well, he'll go to Colombia and he'll meet a beautiful woman and he'll have that experience for the weekend. You know, let's say the dude is smart enough not to get robbed. He'll meet a woman. He'll have that experience for a weekend, but he's paying for it, right? He's paying.
For a fact.
But he loves what he's getting for his investment. And he comes back to America, he works real hard and he goes back. And it's like this cycle, right? And he thinks he has what he's paying for. But in fact, she probably has a husband, kids, she's just getting money. They move different, right? Or she's setting him up for the real setup. And like, he gonna come down there with a bag and she gonna take it. But you know, I'm with you. Like these young men need to work, and the old men too. They need to work on themselves. Like, you know, it's like Michael Jackson saying, "It's the man in the mirror, man." You're gonna have to step it up. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to step it all the way up. You can get yourself a woman, but you got to present a certain way. You got to stop being weird, bro. You can't be living in mama's basement, right? You can't be walking around smelling, right? There's so many things you can't do. Right. You know what I mean? So many things you can't do. So let's see, Brother Cody. I'm gonna catch up on the chats real quick. Brother Cody is king. I say Democrat policies keep you poor while giving handouts. Republican policies allow you to get ahead if and once you start to succeed. I'm not going to argue that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to argue that. You know, you look at what's going on with, you know, why do so many women have kids out of wedlock, right? Well, they're going to get money from the government on that. You know, you get the guy, you put the guy on child support or don't, you're still going to get money from the government. You're going to get nice housing at a very discounted rate. You're going to get vouchers for daycare and all this kind of stuff. So, you know what I mean? There's no incentive to go vote for the party that wants to take all that stuff away. Right? You know what I mean? There's no incentive for that. But at the same time, you're getting all this stuff, but you're stuck. You're stuck in a cycle that, you know, like especially black folks, our community's been stuck in this cycle for generations now. I know generations from great grandma all the way down to the youngest baby, that they're all in that same cycle. They're all on welfare. They're all getting food stamps. They're all on, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a horrible cycle. Mm-hmm. Brother Doug, Red Pill used to deal with female nature and how men should strategize to deal with women. Now new manosphere men are having conversations with women about Red Pill, which was never intended. Yeah, it's really hard to talk to a woman about Red Pill stuff. Like it's really hard to talk to a woman and ask her how to get women as a man. They're not going to come with the 100, bro. They're just not. And Brother Doug continues, Red Pill is completely watered down. Yeah, I wasn't there in the beginning, so I'll take your word for it. Brother Hayoko, we read that already. There's many factions in this. It's talking about hypergamy isn't just in the U.S. and doesn't stop at the border. That's true. Women are always going to want the best they can get. Brother Cody, don't conflate striking out with mismatch of values. The reason successful men are looking elsewhere is the proper propagation of people in the West, and getting puss has never been easier in history. He ain't lying about that, bro. I might have to agree.
But I did want to. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
I wanted to make a point because I think most men would agree that it's not just about the sex. but it's also about, like my man said, the values. But it's, I look at sex, submission, and shut uppiness or silence. The three S's. I'm sex, submission, and silence. When I need you to be quiet, because and the thing about it is, a lot of men. This sounds so cliche when I say it, but it's truer than true. The thing about it is, most men chase women.
Yes, they do.
As opposed to chasing their purpose. And women will find you chasing your purpose. And essentially, they'll throw themselves at you because you've prioritized your purpose over them. And you can never change that. And so, see, the thing about it is, I meet more women when I'm working out, when I'm on a jogging trail, when I'm at a networking event, when I'm doing business in whatever form, right? I'm just doing what I do. And women give me choosing signals or outright, choosing confirmation. And so here's the thing, man. I urge men, stop chasing women, because the more you chase them, the more they're going to run from you. Essentially, I forget what it's called, the law of opposites or something like that, to whereas the more you chase something, the more it will evade you. So essentially, if you chase a woman, she's always going to evade you. In fact, here's the thing about that. If you're chasing a woman, it sends the signal that you don't have other women. And the best cologne that a man could wear is the scent of another woman. Women like who other women like. That's a fact. So look, hey, go into a club by yourself and watch how many women look at you. Go into the club with a woman and then watch how many women look at you. See, and so the thing about it is, if you don't come off thirsty and you're not chasing, then women want to know, well, why is he chasing? Like, what is it about him that he ain't like? It kind of shows that you're not. Listen, I don't really need you, boo. Now, if we lock in and we start showing each other interest, that's one thing. But the fact that you're chasing a woman is going to send the signal that no other woman has vetted you, no other woman has embraced you, and so now you're looking desperate. And so I think that's where a lot of men fail, is that they chase women first before chasing their goals in the way of health, wealth, and other relationships. I mean, get fit, get your money up. And I would surmise also too, you're talking to a man who has been through a lot of pain, right? Pain is one hell of a teacher. And I've learned that getting hurt can be a beautiful thing if you utilize it properly. I'm not saying be hurt to be bitter. And I will close with this. I'll yield the floor. I think honestly, and I know somebody's gonna want to swing on me, but I think a lot of these red pill guys, they come off hurt and bitter, and I'm like, yo, suppress the pain, because the wolves can smell an open wound, and a lot of these women are wolves, and they can smell when the wound is still open, and you hurt, and if you're gonna use them to try to heal, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna.
You know what's funny, bro? I can tell you don't consume a lot of red pill content, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see you like I don't think you. Do you know who Rich Cooper is?
I don't. I know who Coach Greg Adams is, though.
Oh, you know who Coach Greg, but you don't know who. Okay, so Rich Cooper. I'm sure you've heard of Fresh and Fit, but I don't think you like consume a lot of Fresh and Fit's content.
A little bit, a fair share, but not enough to like. Yeah.
But everything you said is what they preach. Rich Cooper preaches it. You know what I mean? Coach Greg Adams, Fresh and Fit, anybody in the space, right? Don't chase women, chase success. Be the best version of yourself, right? Women will come, right? Get up to get your game, your frame, and your money on point. Women will come. Another one, and that was like Rich Cooper and Fresh and Fit says that all the time. Another thing Rich Cooper says, women don't build. They wait at the finish line and they smash the winners. Right. I say smash, but yeah, they fuck the winners. Right. That's all red pill stuff. Right. So, and that's what you're saying. So it was like, oh, I'm going to make somebody mad. Nah, bro, that's the true message. Okay. It's about male self-improvement. Don't do this, guys, just so you can get chicks. That's not the truth. No, become the best version of yourself, become successful at whatever level, and women will come to you. That's how it works. And I tell people all the time, these guys who learn a little bit and they think they got a little knowledge, they think they got a little game, and they go out there. And I always ask them one simple question. Hey man, have you ever said no to a dime? And they just kind of look at, well, why would I say that? What do you mean? Say no to a dime like as a true player, a real pimp. They say no to beautiful women all the time.
Bro, I just kicked one out a couple weeks ago. She came back. I'm sorry.
They gonna keep coming back. They gonna text, they gonna come back. I tell dudes all the time, like, yo, if you really trying to be top G, right, you gotta say no to dimes. You gotta get rid of dimes, bro. And if you can't do that, you always gonna get wrecked. Always. That's just how it works.
But the motive though, what's driving you? And here's what okay. So I'm not a proponent of being mean to women. And again, I don't know if this is triggering for somebody, but I think even KS was mean to some women, and I didn't necessarily agree with the delivery. I knew that the message was on point, but me actually, I consider myself a top tier man. I consider myself an alpha male. In fact, I consider myself what's the other a sigma male. I'm actually a sigma male. And so considering the way that my brain works, I just feel like I'm the big homie and I don't need to pick on a woman at all. And in any shape or form, I don't need to verbally abuse or any other thing. And so I'm out. I feel like I feel like I protect women even when they don't deserve it. And sometimes my protection is just walking away.
And that's my pushback right there. I'm with you as far as I'm not gonna go out and try to purposely make a woman feel bad or hurt a woman's feelings because I've been hurt or this, down, the third. But I'm also not gonna protect them either. Especially those ones that are out there, man, just wild. You know what I'm saying? Ratchet chicks. I'll let them be. Go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Don't look at me now. You don't put yourself in it. Nah, I ain't. No. You handle that. You started that. You finished that. You know what I mean?
I guess. Okay. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to be looked at as picking on a woman in no way, shape, or form. When a woman is doing her, I don't go out of my way to like protect her in that way. But I'll just walk away. I mean, she's doing what she does. Listen, man, I don't want to get too personal on here because I don't know if I've been married twice, both of those relationships taught me a lot, and I'm currently single, but I thank God for those relationships because they taught me a lot. My first wife, she gave me hella lessons. My second one, I will say this, my second one she didn't necessarily want to divorce me. I didn't find out until after the divorce was over that she was just testing me, which her brother told me, but. You can't test a nigga like me because I'm gonna take you for your word, and I trust that you know what you talking about, and I'm not gonna like, oh baby, please, baby, please. I didn't do that, so I think that's what she wanted me to do. But at no time during those divorces did I feel like attacking them. I'm the big homie. I mean, so right. Hey, I even told my first wife, I said, you better get everything you can, bitch, because this is it.
See, and I'm with you on that. And I'm with you on that.
Get all you can. I understand what you're gonna try to do. You're gonna try to get
the game. Yeah, chalk it up to the game. The game's the game, and I'm with you on that.
I gave her over time. Honestly, and I gave her over $250,000. I'm still not bitter about it. It is what it is. It's the game. She utilized the tool of the system to able to leverage that. It was war, and she didn't win. She just won that battle. At the end of the day, I wasn't bitter about it, is what I'm saying. I wasn't bitter about it, and I didn't take that to the next relationship. And I would never take my past experience to Now, what I will say is this. That has made me I'm not a fan of legal marriage. I'll lock in, and we could play house. And
man.
Back up.
I'm not a fan, bro. I'm not a fan of playing house, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not a fan of none of that in America, man, because of, common law laws and stuff like that. I'm real leery of that, man, because the legal system, family court system, is not to be fucked with. You know what I mean? They gonna tear your ass up. You know what I mean? Like you said yourself, you 250,000 in, that's just one wife. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? So it's like I tell people all the time, like, I don't know, bro. I did a show on Suzette Speaks. Her topic was is marriage dead? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, if marriage ain't dead, you know what I mean? I'm like, femininity has a pillow over his face and it's on life support. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's a wrap because it doesn't pay. It's way too much exposure for a successful man to get married in this country. Now, if you marrying a woman who has more than you, okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's the great equalizer. If you marrying a woman, she's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and sign on papers. Go ahead and get married. Because when it's time to walk away, right, the only person who's going to be in a position to have to pay will be her, the person who makes more money. But and people like, oh, you talking about you want to finesse her? Nah, I just want to protect mine. I'm not, you know what I mean? It's because I know how it works. You know what I mean? I'm not really trying to come off of $250,000. Ms. Globe Girl, stop chasing women and concentrate on yourself. Also, stop with the negative narrative about women. It makes these men look desperate. I gotta agree with her. You know what I mean? That's what we're saying. And Brother Michael said something that it's like Uncle Tia and I are chilling in the premiere over at FedEd talking about you. You a real one, fam. I wonder, Brother Michael, was that for me or was that for Cody? I wasn't quite sure. But either way, I see Mike is always out there making shit happen, man. He be everywhere doing this thing. So yeah, that's real talk, man. We're gonna have to wind up this conversation and turn more into a dating relationship conversation than politics. But let's swing it back to politics real quick. Cause I'm like, wait, this is a good talk. We're gonna have to do a part 2 on this one. I did want to talk about politics a little bit, and we already touched on this. We were talking about income. We were talking about why certain segments of people tend to go one way and certain folks tend to go other along economic lines. I found this article on Forbes. I'm not gonna read the whole article, but I wanted to just read the highlights. Right. So this is Forbes. This was back in June of 2021. Black Americans earn 30% less than white Americans, while black households have just 1/8 wealth of white households. Right. Not trying to make this a racial thing, y'all. I just wanted to point some stuff out. They're key facts. Black workers in the U.S. earn on average 30% or $10,000 less than white workers. And this is from McKinsey. This is a firm that did the study. Nearly half of black workers are employed in the healthcare, retail, accommodation, and food service industries, with the vast majority in lower paying service roles instead of professional or managerial roles, right? It's just one of those things, man. And, anecdotally, you can see that shit. You know what I mean? These are just some bullet points from the article. The annual median wage of all U.S. workers is about $42,000, right? 43% of black workers earn less than $30,000 per year. Highlights how they are overrepresented in low-paying jobs. These are stark numbers, and they're kind of scary. While black Americans are underrepresented in high-paying professions, only 5% of physicians are black, and just 4.5% of software developers are black. Black entrepreneurs, on average, launch their businesses with $35,000 in startup and capital and loans versus an average of $107,000 for white entrepreneurs. Pin that one in your mind, because I want to ask you about that one right there. And the median black household has a net worth of about $24,000, or about 1/8 the figure of $188,000 for white households. But because you're an entrepreneur, I wanted to get your take on that one, bro. Black entrepreneurs start their businesses, including their loans, capitals, and everything, $35,000 versus $107,000 for their white counterparts, man. What do you think about that statement?
I'm glad you asked. August is a beautiful question. Now, hold on. Now, what were the sources? You said, what were the sources of the startup capital?
The sources of startup capital was from their savings. I can find it. 1 second. It is startup capital and loans. So it's like their startup capital, I would guess they're talking about like what they saved up and all that in loans, maybe help from family, and then versus the average of the white counterpart, which is $107,000, using the same resources to get the startup capital.
Okay. All right. So this is my lane right here, because I love finance. Yeah. My dad, I got the cheat code. All right. I am proud to say that my dad had me reading financial management books since I was about 16 years old. The first book he gave me, I believe, was Susie Orman's The Courage to Be Rich. And so I'm going to get to answer the question. So one may ask, well, why does it take courage to be rich? Well, because on the journey to be rich, you got to make a lot of sacrifices. And an ingredient for the recipe of success is thriftiness, or while you're trying to reach this certain level of success, adopting a minimalist lifestyle. You know how many of us won't do that? Many of us won't do that.
Gotta have the chain, bro. Gotta have the Lambo, man. You know.
And the thing about it is, we got to show people we got it, and we ain't even got it. You know,
and we ain't even got
it. And I thank God that there were two people in my life, man. I thank God for them that really showed me how money worked, and that was my dad and my cousin, who was a street guy, and who shall remain nameless. And this guy, when we were kids, literally, like I seen him $100,000 cash. We were 16 years old. But when you seen him, I swear to the good Lord Jesus, he looked bummy. He had on two gym shoes with the two Velcro straps on them with no name on it that the old folks wear. 16, and he would have $100,000 in a brown paper bag. I swear, he taught me that. He said, look, they're gonna rob them before they rob me. They don't think I got nothing.
Exactly.
You know, the thing about it is, a lot of times we like to assimilate the success before we actually have reached the level of success. And so what I will say is this, because I went to school with Caucasian and Latino people, and I say that we put more focus on looking rich than actually becoming rich. So that's why a white person could actually save more money for startup capital than a black person coming with their measly 30K trying to start up something when somebody else amassed 107,000 for startup capital. Now, me, I've always been good with saving money, bro. I swear, when I was working at McDonald's at 16 years old, I had bands. I had bands. Some of it came from street, but I'm saying if we just went on my McDonald's checks, like, I was saving my money. I wasn't spending nothing. And I never cared what people thought about me. Like, a woman could think I'm broke, and I'm like, I felt great knowing that I'm not. That's where my confidence come from. Now, you might look at my gear and think I'm broke, but I don't really care because I could check my bag and I feel good again, all over again, you know?
Right.
The problem is we squander our money on foolishness, on liability, on intoxicants, on things that make us look the part, and we're not really working toward the part. And that's one thing that now you put yourself in a position of servitude as opposed to a position of power, because you squandered your power. Money is power. I don't care what you say. My father used to tell me, hey, I don't care how your day is going. When you got money in your pocket, you could tell people to kiss your ass.
Yeah, that's true. And I will push back a little bit just because I must. And I want to hear your take on this. You're not saying that there aren't barriers out there. You're not saying that it's easy. Would you agree that, yes, it will be more difficult for you than your white or Asian counterpart, or even your black counterpart who grew up on the other side of the tracks and comes from a family who was able to get around redlining, or come from a family who was able to circumvent or push through the racism that exists in America? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not saying that at all. I understand we most certainly have barriers, but I think we were just talking about this on Sunday night, and I was talking about the fact that people are tribal. People are tribal people, and once we realize that in our brains, maybe it could alleviate a little bit of pressure. White people are going to look out for white people, and if you break it down, Polish are going to look out for Polish, Italians are going to look out for Italians, so on and so forth. Latinos are going to look out for Latinos. We're the only people that are struggling in that area where looking out for people, first and foremost, because and I think the two major foundational pieces that are broken is family or relationships and what we do with our finances. Now, I'm not saying you got to be together and be married and all this and that, but we could at least do right by each other, right? So now that could keep the relationship intact. And we could do right by our finances, which would prevent us from squandering our power. So if we could get those two areas together, we could do just like them white boys or the Latinos and look out for each other and put people in positions, right? So yeah, there are barriers there. And I'm saying this from a man who 90% of my business income comes from white men, right? Lord, I wish some of it came from, I wish more of it came from black folks. But when you get into the world of business, you know, it's difficult because people didn't really necessarily want to buy into me right away. And I think largely because, hey, look, I'm a dark-skinned nigga with locks. All right. But they wanted to see, hey, are you going to show and prove? Are you going to be a man of your word? Do you really come through like you say you do? And I put a name out here for myself. There was a barrier there. Maybe that barrier wouldn't have been there. Well, there's another issue with me dealing with black folks in business, but you know, but perhaps if we get those two things right, relationships, do right by each other, and finances, be good stewards of our finances, and essentially, like with the whole thing with the Jews coming about, right? And I know a lot of people don't want to say even Jew on it, but Myron Golden did a very good piece. You know who Myron Golden is?
I don't.
Okay, Myron Golden, he's a marketing genius. I suggest everybody go get all social media handles and YouTube and follow that brother. Myron Golden, he did a piece on why are the Jews so rich? And essentially all they did was use biblical principles to amass wealth, and wealth is power. Do what you say you're gonna do. Be on time. Be a person of your word. Manage your finances properly. Don't throw your money away on liabilities and intoxicants. I mean, these are things that we all can do, but you know, many of us don't do it, right? Because YOLO.
So right, exactly.
There are barriers, and I don't want to, but there are barriers, yeah. But can some of these barriers be worked around? Of course. It just take a little more finessing.
Now, I knew that, brother. That's why I wanted to throw it out there. That's why I wanted to push back, play a little bit of devil's advocate, because on his face, it sounded, you don't want nobody to be like, oh, he's just some Uncle Tom ass nigga. Like, no, this brother knows what he's talking about, and I needed you to expand on it. And that's why I brought that up. Yeah, man, because, again, we live in this world now that someone could have turned that into a soundbite and then have all these people coming at you, oh, you owe Uncle Tom, this and that. Nah, bro, and I agree with you. I made it, but it was really hard. You know what I mean? It was really hard getting out of where I came from and getting to where I am today. You know what I mean? And dude, people like, well, you ain't taking no handouts. I'm like, look, man, I listened to everybody that would talk to me, and I gleaned all the good information, and I took that with me. I put it in my bag, and I was able to move through life. And when opportunity came, I could grab something out that bag. Like, oh yeah, you know, Mr. Schwartz said this, and that helped me out. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Or my Italian friend told me that, and that's helping me out. So that's how I live my life. And I get you, but the fact still remains that black people will have less. And yes, it's going to be harder, but if you're smart, you can create more. You can get there. And real quick, I wanted to Miss Glow Girl, you are right, love. I agree with you 100%. When a whole show is centered on how trifling women are, or that most women are 3 or 4s, that's just wrong. You're right. I'm working on a show on that. I do want to do a show to debunk the myth that all women are like are 3 or 4s. I want to debunk that, but men need to be aware. Oh yeah, we definitely. Men need to be aware and know what to look for. It's gonna be a really good show, Ms. Globe Girl. She's giving me ideas on show after show after show, and there's been some good ones. She just sparked that idea, but I want to get back to the conversation we're having. Because I know if I didn't say something, I would forget. So now I want to get back to what we're talking about now, politically. Now as a brother who has made it through and around all those obstacles in your life, doing what you had to do. You had children really young. You took care of your kids. You did everything you're supposed to do as a good man. So here you are. Politically, where do you lie?
Great question. Okay, so I am anti-box. Not the box that women
political box.
But anyhow, no, just box. Period. To be honest with you, brother, I don't want to be lumped into a group. I don't want to be Christian. I don't want to be Democrat. I don't want to be Republican. I'm gonna be honest with you because, in my opinion, it's like gang culture, essentially. I used to have political conversations with when I was a diehard Democrat back in the day. I used to have conversations with a Republican white coworker of mine, and essentially we would agree on certain things, but because I said it as a Democrat, it wasn't well received. You understand what I'm saying? So essentially, I feel like a lot of these boxes makes you choose a side. And so here's what I say: vote your interests. Now I know that sounds cliche as well, but you can't tell me. No one can tell me that one party just has all your views in their heart, and they're going to work on all of your views. Essentially, we're some of the most God-fearing people on the face of the planet. Let us tell it, right? We in church we bust the walls out of churches. We we be in
Right.
that deep. And you would think that a lot of Republican ideals would appeal to us. So because Republicans, essentially are if you really break down their what they believe in, a lot of it is rooted in the Bible. So why are we against that? But you may have certain policies that you're going to agree with. So essentially, I feel like maybe like a Green Party. Is that the Green Party that doesn't really affiliate with the
You got the Green Party, you got the Libertarians. I mean, there's some parties out there, but by and large, we're a two-party system. Either you're going to be Republican or you're going to be Democrat. It's funny that you made the gang thing because one is red and one is blue. You know what I mean? So you're like, it's like, what's up, cuz? What's up, blood? That's where you at with it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but I feel you. But you hit on some points that I really wanted to talk about. Black people in general, along with the Hispanic crowd, would be a natural fit for the Republican Party as it is today, would be a natural fit, but we're not there. So we kind of brought up one point. It was like, well, because the Democrats are the party of basically giving handouts and programs, and we've already shown that, most black folks make less than their white counterparts, and of course everybody else. So they're gonna naturally want these benefits and these handouts. So they're gonna fight hard for that. But I think another thing that we haven't talked about is, and it's the elephant in the room. It's that very small racist fringe that's in that Republican Party. I'm talking about the Proud Boys. I'm talking about skinheads. I'm talking about white supremacists. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that?
Well,
I know it's a tough one, bro.
Are we avoiding voting our interests because another party that may have anti-black views, another individual in that group may have anti-black views that believe in that party, like Republican? I mean, essentially, there are racism is a mental defect, a mental illness, if you will. There are a lot of mentally ill people on the Democratic Party, in the Democratic Party.
Absolutely.
And essentially, I mean, someone being racist from afar is far more dangerous. I mean, far less dangerous than some of them Negroes that you mingle with that can steal from you, kill you, abuse your children, anything. You know what I'm saying? Who are right there voting Democrat right with you.
Yep.
At the end of the day, I think that has been beaten home, and to the point where people in their mind, they think they're fighting racism when they go against the Republican Party. But if you really look at what the Republicans stand for,
or used to stand for, it's kind of got muddy here in the past 8 to 12 years. They've gotten away from their core values. If the Republican Party goes back to their core values, then it would make a lot of sense for the African Americans to be a part of that. And that was the whole point of this particular episode. So it seems like we agree. Brother Cody's like pretty sure Proud Boys has lots of black dudes. They're hard to find, bro. I know the leader of the Proud Boys is a Latino guy who the government flipped, and he's actually informant, right? Ratting out his own people. But yeah, bro, it's hard to find black Proud Boys. Trust me, I've been looking. You know what I mean? I'm down in Florida. I'm down here where them boys, where the Proud Boys be at. It's hard to find them. And Sister Candace in the house. What's good, love? Let me give you a shout out. What's good, love? Thanks for being here. But the Republican Party, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a registered Republican. but I vote what's best for me and the country. Period. You know what I mean? I vote issues, not party. Shout out to Jay Swans. Because that's how we get down. Well, why are you a registered Republican? This is a red state. And if you're not a registered Republican, you can get iced out of a lot of the political process here. You know what I mean? So if they're going to have some sort of ballot referendum or they're going to have some sort of vote on something, I can get in there and vote. That's why. You know what I mean? And when I talk to my Republican friends, right, our views align almost exactly. We want the same thing. I'm cool with smaller government. I'm cool with taxes that make sense. You know what I mean? But when it comes down to it, like, you know, all the printing the money and all that stuff, the problems we have in today, the Republicans are just as guilty as the Democrats, right? When you go all the way back to TARP, right? Everyone knew what they were doing was illegal. When we were talking about the housing market, that big housing market crash back in 2008. Everybody involved knew it was illegal. Everyone involved knew what they were doing, right? They crashed the entire world economy. No one went to jail. Think about that. Barely anybody got fired. You only had one company that took an L, right? And they all got bailed out by the taxpayers. People who couldn't even afford homes had to bail out the people who were gambling with homes. Right? That shit was wrong. Real Republicans, Reagan Republicans would never stand for that shit. Deregulation used to be the Republicans. We got to deregulate. Well, let me back that up a little bit. Common sense deregulate. The Democrats will put in some deregulations. Republicans will be like, all right. You know what I mean? But then they get into this whole, let's deregulate everything. Let's let the market sort it out. You still got to watch these people because now banks are even bigger. You know what I mean? Too big to fail is a real thing. So let's go away from the political issues and let's just get back to the party itself. Latinos and black folks would be a natural fit for the Republican Party, but they're not there. And I'm wondering why. And I'm wondering, when will the Republican Party start reaching out? Because they just got beat up. They just got beat up in a midterm election, which they should have ran the board. Joe Biden and his administration, along with the House and the Senate, all these Democrats, they are putting America in a bad place. You know what I mean? It's just not cool what they're doing. This is a midterm. His numbers, Joe Biden's numbers, aren't that good, but the Republicans couldn't get in. Americans looked at the Republican Party and they looked at what American politics is doing right now, the Democrats, and they stayed with the Democrats. I'm wondering if that's a wake-up call to Republicans, and I'm wondering if they will reach out to people of color now, because it's looked like that crazy run is over, right? People are tired of dealing with Trump, right? Trump's going to lose his hold on a real Republican Party. I'm wondering if they're going to come out and try to embrace, black folks, Latinos, Asians. What do you think? Go ahead.
Well. So let me ask a question. Do you think they were during their campaigns or what have you? Do you think they were exclusive in their reach? I mean, like,
yes, they were. Yeah, Republicans were yes, they were. They were not very. Let's put it this way: they were not very welcoming. When you go to some Republican events, depending on what part of the country you were in, they were not very welcoming. And it's not what you think. It's not the South. The South, they're more, up front, they'll be nice with you. It was out West. You know what I mean? They weren't very welcoming. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, I got Republican friends, but it took a lot of doing because whatever they was thinking. And I wonder if they're gonna do away with those blocks.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I'm not really I'm not really heavy into politics, to be honest with you. Like the last 3-4 years, like my focus has been getting my bag up because now I do know there are policies out there that could affect me, but essentially, I think I can say cash is king. I feel like I could weather any storm if my bag is strong enough. But as far as I know, hey, when Trump was in office, I mean, hey, I had better tax shelters. I was doing all kinds of silliness. Even my sister who works at Ford, when she was laying off, her checks was crazy. It favored big business. It favored Trump's policies favored people in a lot of ways. However, just the name Trump itself is so triggering that people wouldn't even check that. They wouldn't even check that when they're in the voting booth. That being said, I am ashamed to say, or am I ashamed to say? I don't know if I'm ashamed to say, but I did not vote. I was too busy working last night on things that move the needle in my life because I'm trying to make sure I get more and more of a bag.
Like, bro, for real though, this man, like, I'm glad of your honesty, but I gotta tell you, bro.
I know.
Take your ass to the voting booth, man. I don't care who you vote for, man, but go vote. God damn it.
The thing about it is, I'm gonna be honest with you. I hadn't been paying attention, man. Like, I launched a new business February this year, and I've been like, I got a lot invested into it. So I've been really trying to make sure I don't lose my investment, and that's been my primary focus. I haven't been paying attention to people's talking points, or this and that, or what policies they're backing and promoting. But I will say this: choosing a side on anything, I think, in my opinion, for my life, is dangerous, and that's why that's essentially why I stopped subscribing to Christianity, because I just feel like I don't want to be lumped in to be able to in a position to challenge Muslims or challenge Jehovah's Witnesses or what the Seventh-day Adventists on their beliefs. You know, hey, at the end of the day, I'm a human being, and I try to do right by the people that I share this a space we call Earth with, and I try not to infringe on anybody else's right to be, and that's cool enough for me.
I ain't mad at you, bro. I ain't mad at all. At the top of the show, you thank me for my service, man. Here's the thing: you really want to thank me for my service? Go vote, man, because I did all that shit so you can go vote.
That's right. It's just, hey, I ain't been paying. I haven't been paying. So
I'm fucking with you, bro. I ain't mad at you, man. Because
no, I can take. Hey. But I'm saying, so what's worse? What's worse, a person that doesn't vote or uninformed voter just going in checking boxes? I mean, I don't know.
I would say an uninformed voter. No, the person who doesn't vote, because even even that uninformed voter, when you go in there, you're gonna be, you're gonna challenge yourself. Oh well, you know what a Republican is, you know what a Democrat is. You recognize some names, even if they're just picking the names that they recognize. At least to me, it's like an obligation of all American citizens. That's the one obligation you can't get around. You got to go vote. You know what I mean? And yes, if you're busy, that messes things up. And I ain't mad. You got to secure your family first. You got to do what you got to do. I get that. You know what I mean? I really do. I would say, hey, man, sign up be able to a mail-in ballot. So that gives you a block of time. You got time from the time you get the ballot until election day. So you can be like, oh, let me fill this out. You can take a few days, figure it out. Boom, boom, boom. Watch your favorite YouTube channel. Come over here and watch DL Saint. Listen to me talking about some people. Be like, okay, I'm going to vote for this. Boom, send it off. You know what I mean? But again, here's the thing. And here's the rub. As an American, you have a right to not vote. That is your right as an American. If you choose not to exercise that, I can't get mad at you, bro, because I fought for that too. You know what I mean?
Right. I wouldn't feel right in good conscience stepping into a voting booth uninformed and just checking boxes because somebody's name sounds like they might be black or they close to black.
My thing is whoever you want to vote for.
Do that, though.
Hell yeah. There are people going in, they'll vote straight Democratic ticket, they'll vote straight Republican ticket. This election was weird because you have people voting for, like, they'll vote for a Democratic governor, but then they'll vote for Republican senators. Like, the ticket was split. Which tells me a lot of people were paying attention. And this is another reason I think the Republican Party is going to start reaching out to minorities, because they're like, shit, we're at the end of the road. Act Ozzy, you know what I mean? What's good, bro? And he says it right here. Let me show him some love. He's out of Canada. He was like, well, they believe they can win without minorities, so there you have it. And he's right. I think the Republican Party has been kind of privileged, and they're like, you know what? We're winning without minorities. We can appease our base and do whatever and still be us. But that has changed. And I think they're going to have to come out. And for you and for me and those people out there who are hardworking, building themselves up, you come in there with some bread, they're gonna respect that. Oh, you're an entrepreneur. Oh, you came from where? Oh, you really did pull yourself up by the bootstraps? Not like me, I had a silver spoon in my mouth. You really did it? Right? Yeah, you really have cultivated your relationships with the banks. And you know what I mean? You built a company, you have board of directors, you have this, that, and the third. Yeah, they're gonna holler at you, bro. They're gonna holler at you and they're gonna want to put you in some sort of office. Hey man, we could, can you know, would you be willing to run for this seat and we'll get all the money? You know, they spent 60, I think it was over $60 billion on this election. Over $60 billion by both sides were, you know, total was spent on this election. That's how important it is for the 1%. You know what I mean? These seats, these elected positions, right? If think about that. Why would these very wealthy people invest so much money in a Senate race, a presidential race, a congressional race, right? Why would they do that if it's not important? You feel me? And I think, and I think as a community, we need to hit both parties, all the parties. We need to get out there and get involved as a community. And it's back to what you were saying before, why the black community seems to have failed, because we don't spend money with each other. Right. And this is something I started doing. Every dollar I spend on this platform when I'm building up my YouTube presence, every dollar I spend has to touch people in my crew within my circle first. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to spend $1 on somebody's going to do my editing. All right. He has to spend that same dollar on someone who's going to do the banner or thumbnails. And that person's going to have to spend the same dollar on the photographer or whatever. That dollar has to travel around our circle at least 3 times before it goes out of our circle. I think something as basic as that. Mm-hmm. To kind of show that our wealth, you know what I mean, our value as a community, that'll get Republicans and Democrats to look at us different. Like, oh, these people, they turned it around. They're starting to build up. They're starting to invest in themselves. Now we got to take them serious. That's my thing. Republican, we need black folks in the Republican Party. We need black folks in the Democratic Party, and we need them in leadership in those parties. This is why I wanted to have this show, because it is important. And I think we got an opportunity now with the Republican Party. What do you think of that?
Well, you know, I wanted to discuss a little bit about what you were saying about recycling the black dollar.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You down you're in Florida.
I'm in Florida. I'm in Central Florida. Yep.
I'm in Chicago, which means, and I know you're familiar with this scenario. Whereas, you know, and I'm going to bring it back. All right, but you spend your money with someone that look like us, okay, and then they don't come through when they say they're going to come through, or their work is shoddy, or what have you, right? And here's what I'm saying: if we take notes from the Jewish community, to whereas we have integrity. First, is gonna come down to us having integrity with each other. When I say I'm going to do something for you, brother, I'm going to give. You're not going to have to look it over with a fine. It's going to be hey,
solid.
Oh, it's going to be solid. It's going to be better than what you expected. I'm gonna overachieve. I'm going to underpromise and overdeliver. And so the integrity that we need to have with each other. That's beautiful that you have it within your group. But I think that's something that we need to have with each other as a whole to bring us together in an effort for cohesiveness, right? That we have the integrity that when we say we're going to do something, not only do we do it, but it's better than what you expected. At least meet your expectations, but It's better than what you expected. I want to be wild. And largely that's why we take money outside of our circles, is because if I'm going to spend significant money that I earned, however I got it, I want the best for my bread. And even if I could get good, I'll even settle for a notch or two down if I could do business with somebody that is of the same ethnicity, right? That's beautiful. But I'm not paying for subpar service. I'm not paying for a subpar product. And here's what I'm saying. This is not an attack on black folks. This is a call to action for us, that we need to have integrity when we deal with each other. And that's something major that's going to turn around the whole thing. We would love to spend black dollars with. I know a lot of people who would love to spend our dollars with us, but are we going to give us better than what we expected, or at least what we expected in the way of service and products? And that will prevent the dollar from leaking outside of the black community that so many black folks say that we don't have. But that's another subject, because that's triggering for me when black folks say we don't have a community. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I ain't mad at you. And that dollar is going to eventually get outside your circle, but that should touch at least three or four folks in your circle before it goes out. That's how I look at it. Let that money touch everybody first and then go outside the circle. Ms. Globe Girl, why is it important to vote if neither party moves you or deserves your vote? Good point. My thing is there are more than just candidates on the ballot, right? You definitely want to, the prosecutors on some ballots, there are judges on ballots. There are ballot initiatives on there. Like there'll be discussion of tax rates. There'll be discussion of should we continue this particular law? Should we continue this particular committee? There are lots of things on that ballot. You can go in there and like, you know what? I'm not voting on governor or senator or congressperson. I ain't voting on none of that. I'm just going to go in here and vote on this tax levy, or I'm going to vote on removing this tax levy, or I'm going to vote for this judge, this prosecutor, this sheriff, because all that affects you every single day. So that would be my pushback. Or my answer to that statement, Ms. Globe Girl. Again, like I said, I don't care who you vote for, but just go on in there and vote. And Brother Cody, facts to the guest, lots of these sides don't even stand for what they claim. Yeah, they're getting bread. And that's another thing, too. We're talking about professional politicians. They're getting money.
Power grab.
Oh, bro, Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi, they got her net worth somewhere north of $200 million, man. She makes $200,000 a year in that position. North of $200 million. Right? How's she getting that bread? Because she knows what's coming. And her husband, who's in the financial game, can bet on what's coming. He knows where to put the money. Right? So come on. And it's like, that's got to be illegal. It ain't, because she's in charge of the people who make the laws. It ain't illegal yet. She going to get her money and then make it illegal. So we can't go to DC and do it. So
who was that? So the Rothschild, I forget which Rothschild was quoted as saying, give me control over a country's finances, and I could care less who makes the laws. I couldn't care less who makes the laws.
And that's the 1%.
Yeah. And so essentially that lets you know what it's really about. It's about the bread. Now, granted, okay, we have to have laws on the books because like B.F. Skinner said, he's a old behavioral scientist, and he would say that behavior is controlled by its consequences. So you gotta have consequences. You gotta have laws. You gotta have certain things on the books to kind of maybe either control the people or level the playing field in certain arenas. But what it all comes down to, America is all about bread.
It's all about bread, man.
And that's why I say China cares about Chinese people. Japan cares about Japanese people. You name those other countries because they're all one. America cares about money. And it's proven when the food that they pass here by the FDA is banned in most other countries. Yeah. Right.
That's because it's poison. We feed our kids poison here. It's all about the money, because the lobbyists they own the policymakers, and they get them to say that ketchup is the same as a tomato. That's a vegetable. What? You know what I mean? So, and the processed foods are fine. That's what they say. Like man, you're right about that. Sister Candace, she says, forgive me if it's already been discussed, but can we talk about the future of the two-party system and the belief that a third party can save us? Did a third party hurt the GA or the Georgia state election? I would like to see two more viable parties. I would love to see a veterans party, right? And I would love to see a fourth party, viable parties. You know what I mean? They're doing business for their people. In Georgia, you had that race, you had an independent running, and he took 2% of the vote. And that was enough to keep the vote count low enough to where they have to go to a runoff election. But I'm glad that independent was there. I'm glad people had a third choice. You got Warnock and you got Walker. Like Herschel Walker, man, there's something wrong with him. You know what I mean? They're trying to put him in the Senate. Why? Because he is going to rubber stamp anything they say, and it's the money that Sir Charles is talking about right now. Put Herschel Walker in the Senate for 6 years, and that's just a dude. He's the empty suit. He's going to do is exactly what he's told. Warnock's going to do the same thing for the Democratic side. Warnock is going to get as much money as he can out of the situation. If they send him to DC as a senator for 6 years, he's going to come back a multimillionaire. Like it is what it is. It's all game. But if we had a third and fourth party, that might change things. You might have the two parties band together so they can make votes on and get laws and take over leadership, and they can bring in stuff like like voter. What I'm saying, what did I want to say here? Term limits. They'll bring in term limits. Maybe they'll come in there and they'll overturn Citizens United. So you can take all the dark money out of politics. Those two things happen in politics, and things change in America very quickly, because now you got the people actually getting what they need through their politicians, like it's supposed to work. So that's what I would say, Sister Candace. I would love to see two more viable parties. You know what I mean? I think that would be kind of good. But the independent guy that ran, he just took 2% of the vote, and that just made it, more drama. Now everybody's waiting to see what happens in Georgia. But yeah, bro, this is, and we're gonna calm down with the political talk, like you said, because you're not like a really political hard hitter. I'm more heavy politically than you. But I did want to end, and I wanted to talk about womanizing, bro. Let's talk about something me and you both are a little more familiar with. Let's talk about womanizing. Let's get back to this sexual marketplace. We touched on marriage. We know your feelings on that. But do you see how unhappy? Would you agree that people are really unhappy out here in this dating world now? But they are all starved for relationships. Why do you think that is, bro?
Well, so I can't remember what book I read that in, but essentially it was the quote saying that happiness is the absence of desire.
Happiness is the absence of desire.
Absence of desire. Essentially, if you think about it, right? If you're hungry, you get angry, which coined the word hangry, right? Once you get food, you're satisfied, you're straight, right? And you no longer desire the food, therefore you're happy. Essentially, a lot of us, our desires are too great, and therefore our happiness takes a hit. Now, you could essentially tweak your happiness by simply tweaking your desires, and as a matter of fact, you could. We all have the ability to affect that in every area of our life, whether it's health, wealth, or relationships. And it's all about your mindset. Many times I think we want too much for the capacity that we're able to receive it. Because if you are the person to receive it, you'd have it. So work on being the person that can receive a thing, and it will materialize. If you haven't gotten it, then you haven't become the person to receive that. And so, but the thing about it is, we tend to want things that are outside of our range, whatever it is. Become the person. That's what I would have to say about that. A lot of people don't really think about that, because they want first. They want to have the thing without going through the process to have that thing, whatever it is: money, the relationship, the body, the sculpted body. You know how many people watching this show right now know they should be in the gym.
I'm one of them. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I need to do some sit-ups.
But I'm saying at the end of the day, you know what you want. You just don't want to go get it. And so you're desiring something. Your desires are too great. That's why your happiness is on the lower end of the spectrum. Your desires are too great for the person that you are right now. So that's what I would say. Anything can be attainable if you work on you and work on your mindset.
So you're saying people aren't doing that, and they're still shooting for the stars, and they're missing? Or do you think that people get into relationships because they're basically settling, like, I couldn't get what I want, so I'm just gonna take this, and then they still have this desire, and that's why it's not working? Because there's so many people out here, man, that I'm seeing that are upset, man. They're real mad. They're out here. They're trying to date. They're doing this thing, men and women. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the biggest thing on YouTube, man. Dating coaches, you know what I mean? The red pill space. You got sisters out here paying $10,000, $15,000 a head to go talk to some chick who's never been married or is not married. She's gonna tell her, that woman is gonna tell these other women how to get a top tier guy. This is how you get yourself a millionaire. Just pay me $10,000, $15,000, and I'll show you the way. right? This has to be coming from some, some serious loss or some I don't know what I'm trying to figure that out, man. What is the problem right now? Because this is worse than when we was growing up.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna say something that probably ain't gonna help none whatsoever. But you know that there's a scripture in the Bible that says, "The poor you will have with you always."
The poor you will have with you always.
Right. So a lot of people take that to believe that you're talking about monetarily poor or economically poor. But you could be poor in spirit. You could be poor in many other ways. You could be poor in morals. You're gonna have people on the lower end of the spectrum in every arena, in every area of life. Now, I will say, for those who have the mental fortitude to actually push to do better, have a seat at our feet right now and take notes. All right, because at the end of the day, you can have what you want if you put the work in. A lot of us settle because we're lazy.
And you're talking about men and women. We're not being gender specific. Okay.
Yeah, men and women. We're lazy. We don't, or we willfully ignore the things that are wrong with us because a lot of us want to think that we're perfect.
We want the cheat code because we don't, like you said, we're lazy. We don't want to do the work. Give me the cheat code, and I'll gladly pay you $10,000 for it.
Yeah. Yep. Give me something easy, something quick, but no, you don't want to put that work in. And here's the thing, man. Let me ask you a question though. Do you believe that some people are just screwed? They just in life, they screwed. It is what it is.
I believe there are folk. No, I don't believe that people. Okay, it's two parts to this answer. No, I don't believe in the notion that there are some people who are just screwed in life. The people who find themselves in that situation believe they are screwed. Therefore, it comes to pass because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to dig themselves out of the hole. And like, well, I was born into this hole. You still got to climb out. Right. And if you refuse to climb out, then you shall stay in the hole. So I don't believe that, you're just screwed. Boom. That's it. You know what I mean? You got big head, big nose. You know what I mean? One of your eyes don't work, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? One nut bigger than the other one, whatever the case may be. They're like, I'm just screwed. Nah, there's always a workaround.
So somebody put it in there, Matthew 26:11.
Is that what it is? Yeah. I mean,
So here's what I'm saying. So if the good Lord said that the poor you will have with you always, why do we think that everyone can actually achieve certain levels of health, wealth, and relationships? Like some people are just mentally they're not gonna do it. I wouldn't give a damn if the world was turned upside down and whatever it was. They're just not gonna do it. And they'll forever blame everyone else and everything else for their circumstances. I believe some people are just screwed because they don't want to do the work. And I got people. I'm trying to be careful. I got people in my family. You could talk to them. You could have a conversation with them. You like, damn. Yeah, you probably whoo, you gone. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you. There are always going to be certain tiers, especially in the sexual selection hierarchy as it pertains to men, right? So there are certain tiers in the sexual selection hierarchy. And women, being naturally hypergamous, they're gonna try to go for the top guy, the best option that they could possibly get at the time, and that's rightfully so because women looking for protection, they're looking for provision, they're looking for problem solving, they're looking for priesthood, which is leadership,
man, security.
So they're looking for these things and so those things gotta come from the best possible candidate. Otherwise, they feel like they're shorting themselves. Well, men do it too on a lower scale, though, because we're not necessarily looking for those things, but we are looking for the best option possible because we don't want to be seen as like somebody who just settled for some crap. And I think that's a human thing. But here's the thing, man. Some people are screwed. I'm going to be honest with you.
Give me an example. Give me an example of that person that's screwed. Okay. Male.
I'll give you a great example. I don't want to be too specific, but I know a woman who ugly as hell.
All right.
Hey, and there's nothing that's gonna help her but a new life. I'm just trying to tell you. The only thing that's gonna help her is reincarnation.
But is she ugly? Like, is she obese? Like, she has a nice body? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, describe her. Just loosely describe her.
She built wrong. It essentially looked, and I hate feeling like I'm talking about people, but I'm just trying to add context, brother, because I would never say this to her face, but you know, I can say God make mistakes. She looked like that's not true. So what I'm saying is, she has to settle. This woman has to settle for what she can get. That's a fact. I mean, essentially, I'm probably, I don't want to sound cocky because I feel like I'm a handsome brother, you know what I'm saying? You know, whatever. And I feel like but at the end of the day, you can be observant. Listen, I know she can't. How the heck could she get a guy who has all kinds of options that's gonna settle for her?
Okay, so that's what I want to get to. So we got this person, female, who is just not attractive at all. I'm just god ugly. I'm assuming her personality is decent. It's not bad. I don't think she has a horrible attitude on top of everything else.
Well, I actually I grew up with her, so I only see her on Facebook. But you know,
quit telling on yourself, man. But just just don't. You know what I mean? She's gonna be like, oh, you keep narrowing it down. It's like, yeah, I'm on this Facebook. Quit telling on yourself. So you can have a woman that's really ugly, right? I mean, just god ugly, and then her body, like, okay, she's not obese, but she doesn't have like that hourglass shape. She doesn't whatever. But she's really, really cool. Like, she has a pure heart, right? Just ugly, but she has a pure heart, right? And she's not obese. That woman will have a guy fall in love with her, bro. That woman will it be a top tier guy? Probably not. But she'll be able to.
You know it.
Probably not. But she will be able to get a guy. She could be a straight 1. A 1 on a scale of 1 to 10. She's a 1. She'll be able to get herself like a 4. Maybe a 5, right? Now, That woman will know, I'm not going to be able to get the top tier dude. She'll shoot her shot, but she ain't going to get there. But this 5 is going to love her. She'll wind up on the pedestal. It's going to work. Now, make it a dude. You know what I mean? Just a dude who's just not that handsome. He's like scrawny, doesn't have any muscles, or he's fat. Right, but he's broke, living in the basement. He's never going to get a woman, let alone a dime. You see what I mean? There's that difference right there.
You can get a woman, D.
So let's make he's socially awkward. He's socially awkward. His body ain't right. He's living in his mom's basement, and he doesn't want to better himself. Remember, you're saying, you're like, oh, this is a guy who just born. Nah, if he refuses to better himself, he'll never get a woman. Now, he could be ugly as sin. Tyrone Hill, basketball player out of Cincinnati, Ohio, man, went to Xavier, wound up playing for the 76ers for a while. They voted him all ugly every year he was in the league. Every year he was in the league, he was a beast. Tyrone, look it up. Every year he was in the league, Tyrone Hill, they voted him all ugly squad or whatever. Guess what? Dimes everywhere. Dimes. Why? He driving the Maybach. He's a basketball player, huh?
Man could be ugly. We're not really graded on our looks for the most part. I mean, we could be graded on the curve because our bag might be up, our conversation may be up, our brains may be up, our physique. If you know, that means a lot. However, if that guy, okay, first of all, I wouldn't say homeless men get women, and they get women, they get other homeless women to sleep in their boxes with them. It's all the time. But here's the thing though. It's kind of like when you're on that lower tier of society, it's kind of like you get what you get. You get what you get.
But you can get, right? Because you were saying there's some people they're just screwed no matter what. And I that's why my pushback on that is like, nah, even the ugliest woman's gonna get herself a dude that's, like I said, it could be a 5. It could be a 5.
But I know some of these women who are very unattractive, who somehow in their brains they think they gonna recognize that who they're getting are their best options. You're getting guys who are fresh out of jail that need a place to stay. You got a guy who has no other options, so he's gonna settle for you. And because of one of myriad of things, his conversation is whack. His brain is damn near dead. You know. his body his what do you call that, personal hygiene is struggling, if you will. I mean, these are I know women who deal with it. When I say screwed, I'm not saying you don't have any options. I'm saying your dating pool is like this. You're dating now.
We're in but you know what though? We're in the fringes. We're in the fringes, right? Because just think about it. Yes, I hear what you're saying. You hear what I'm saying. Yes, for every woman like that, I can show you some basement dweller. Like, look, that guy ain't never gonna get no Foxy Brown, bro. He a basement dweller. Look at him living with his mom. He's fat. You know what I mean? Has no social skills. But then you give him a black card, right? Give him an Amex card and post him up in the Four Seasons somewhere, and his dime's coming to see him. You know what I mean? Like, so. Yeah. I think we're dwelling in the fringes, but I agree with you. But overall, by and large, like just for the regular functioning people, they're really unhappy right now in this dating world, man. And you know what I mean? Again, the question still remains, why? You know what I mean? We'll set aside the argument about those the hopeless. You know what I mean? We'll set them aside for a moment. But why is the by and large, like the majority of folks out there having so much trouble?
I think because they haven't really tapped into the ability to feed their subjective minds to create their objective reality. Too oftentimes, you know that song "Waiting on the World to Change." I don't really know the song, but I know. Right. Too oftentimes, we're waiting on everybody else to change, everything else to change outside of us. And we're not realizing that everything outside of us changes when we change from the inside. It's the way you look at things. Like, for example, honestly, bro, I'm just keeping it a buck. I don't have a problem finding submissive, beautiful women. I just don't. I don't have a problem finding women who do what I tell them to do, and they'll gladly do it. Now, one may say, "Well, you've been divorced twice." Yeah, I could get them back if I want to. It's not a problem. In fact, I led the divorce for my first wife, and the second wife that was she was testing me, quote unquote. I could, at the end of the day, I can get her back if I want to, but I'm very stubborn, and I don't look back. The windshield is too big. I'm not looking in the rearview mirror. Got to keep it pushing. So that being said, for those of us who are able, and there are a lot of able-bodied men and women out here who can create their objective reality if they just tweaked their brains and worked on themselves first and foremost. Now, men and women, we both know have different journeys. A woman doesn't necessarily have to be on her mission. All she has to do is be beautiful and supportive and submissive, and she could land her a top tier guy working in the drive-thru at McDonald's. A man has to be on his mission in every area for him to be top tier, physically, spiritually, emotionally, socially, financially. If you got all those other areas covered, the world is your oyster. But a lot of men don't want to put the work in. Is what I'm saying. So let's not talk about the people who are doomed for life, because I believe they're out there. But that's just my opinion.
I think that if you're doomed for life, that means you just gave up. I think if you're one of those people when you work, you bust your ass. If you're the dude who's underweight, you get your, get your diet right, get your weight up, get your body together, get your money up. Like you said, you won't get on a purpose. You're going to find some women. And I think you got that woman who's ugly. I mean, man, I've seen some obese women with dudes like Jesus, like, and like the ugly women, whatever. I've seen some fairly unattractive women, like some 4s and 5s with top tier guys. Because they add some value, some sort of value, something that man can't replace. Because the sex, the Foxy Brown, he get that all day, every day. Just like kind of like what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like you good woman, man. Me and you could go out tonight in any city in America, any city in the world, and we're gonna come out the spot with something. If that's our mission, for sure, right? Just based on experience and the fact that we know how to talk to people and all that kind of shit, right? But you could put two nerdy dudes, two crypto dudes who are worth billions in the same spot, and they ain't coming out of there with nothing unless they pay for it. You know what I mean? So like, and I get you on that, but those same two crypto dudes, if they would sit down and listen to Myron Gaines or the Tate brothers or, Donovan Sharp, even just take some notes and listen and learn how to not be socially awkward, stay on their purpose, turn their billion into 5 billion, then they're going to have more women that truly into them. right? We get all that, but I'm just wondering why people just can't get together, bro. I just wonder. I'm not making judgment. I'm not trying to say, hey, I got a course for that. Nothing. I'm just, because that's the biggest thing on YouTube right now, man. Mm-hmm. That's huge. Everything on YouTube is all about dating and getting together, bro. It is what it is. I just want to catch up on the chat real quick. It was a couple chats. I'm sorry I didn't show all the chats, y'all. We've been having a pretty cool conversation. I know we're all over the place, but we're having fun here. And we're going to wrap this up in a couple minutes. Born with left, sure, but the ability to get better is always there. Sister Candace, and that was from Brother Cody. Cody is king. Sister Candace, breaking news and off topic, but a Trump appointed federal judge just blocked student debt relief. Good. Elections have consequences. Yeah. I ain't mad at you, man, because I paid my student loan debt. Cody is king. Ugly women still have value. LOL. Ms. Glow Girl's like, Lord have mercy. That's when you was talking about how ugly she was, and we just catching up with all that. It's like, well, if she is mentally screwed, flunked, brainwashed is a different story. Yeah, because I'm telling you, women always got a shot because there's so many thirsty dudes, bro. You know what I mean? Cody is king. Yep, good personality and fit will fix most problems if you're a woman. Facts. You know what I mean, Miss Glow Girl? If she wears makeup, you may get a top tier guy. Hey, man, I hate makeup, but it is a thing. Wait, real quick, what's your take on makeup, bro?
I don't mind it at all.
I'm talking about that caked on, completely different person makeup. No. You don't care?
So I actually dated a woman who had skin problems on her face. And I thought she was beautiful. I thought she was beautiful with it. Because like this, I understood why she put it on, and I didn't mind because she was a beautiful person. But that's just my opinion. It's a preference. I understand some men they don't like it. I don't mind weave. I don't mind long nails. For me, it's all about the femininity, the essence of a woman, and femininity can't be put on. Because you can have a woman who put all that shit on and still be not as feminine as you want her to be. At the end of the day, like I'm be honest with you, bro. I got two women, and I don't lie about it. They know about each other, and they're both very feminine. One of them is more natural. The other one has like the long nails and the weave, and but both of them sexy as hell to me. Mm-hmm. So. I don't mind it at all. It don't bother me.
Yep. And Miss Glow Girl has an answer. She say because there's no listening. There's lots of talking, but no listening. That's a good point. Out there in the dating world, there's a lot of talking on how to do this and that, but no one's really listening. Damn, that's a good point, sis. I like that because people are getting these cheat codes. Guys are getting these pickup lines. Women are out there trying to figure out how to finesse for the bag, but no one's really listening. And I don't think anyone's really asked themselves what they're looking for. Because I'm hearing you, like you got two, you doing your thing. That's what's up. Me, I'm chilling. I'm on Templar mode right now, man. Like I don't want nothing. I'm building up things. I'm doing stuff. I'm making moves or doing stuff, you know what I mean, out there in the world. There are opportunities that are coming. I'm working on them. I'm focused on that. You know what I mean? A lot of folks will be like, man, your little shorty over there trying to holler at you. Like, bro, I don't have time. I'm not here for that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But when I do talk to folks, I think Ms. Glow Girl's onto something. People aren't listening. They're not listening, you know?
So let me, I do a little pushback to it because
go ahead. Yeah.
I guess my objective is I want you to agree before we go. So hold on. So you telling me if a woman is mentally brain dead, damn near, built wrong, and I'm actually describing a woman that I know. Mentally damn near, mentally brain dead, built wrong. Personal hygiene is way off. Her crib is damn near hoarders. Episode. She ain't screwed. She's
screwed if she doesn't make any changes. Right? She's just like the guy, the male counterpart. He's screwed if he doesn't make any changes. Now, the male counterpart will have to make more changes to get the desired outcome than the female. She gets her mindset right. She gets some counseling. Okay, now she can think like normal folk. She takes care of her hygiene. She's on. That's it. She does those two things. Somebody, some dude is gonna smash. She can come on this platform You know what I mean? I ain't got myself together. I ain't crazy no more. And da-da-da-da-da. They fixed the floating eye, all that. I don't stink anymore. I know how to use the products. I smell good. There's going to be dudes in her DM that night. You know what I mean?
You damn, they have to become a different person. And that's likely not to happen.
She has to change. Like I said, she had to work. Like you said, she got to work on it. She would have to be on her purpose. Just like you were saying, guys got to be on theirs. She would have to start making some changes, and she would only need to make 2, maybe 3 changes, and she would be on.
Well, something that God did, you probably, if you built wrong, I don't know if you know that guy, the guy girl, damn, I forget. The motherfucker be like, I'm trying to get myself together. I can't get my motherfucking self together. Get fucking hip, built, no, okay, never mind.
No, like what the hell you talking about, bro?
I know who I'm talking about in the chat, but that his body crooked than a motherfucker. Hey, and so I'm just saying, I'm not trying to poke fun. I'm just saying, I just believe, hey, that scripture that said, the poor you will have with you always, is not just about economics. It's about mind. It's about your reality, what people perceive this life to be, how they are. Some people, you're always going to have people on the bottom tier. And that's the way it is. But yeah. Hey, I wanted to make really quickly,
go ahead.
My man, and I don't really mind trolls or whatever. I could take it. I like people swinging on me because I could pitch and catch. It's no big deal. So my man Cody.
Pause, my brother.
Oh no, yeah, pause. My man Cody was like, sure, but still divorced. So that's 2 L's, aka they were not good enough, and you chose wrong. We all make bad choices. And everything in life is a gamble. You cannot absolve yourself of risk at any given time. And so now, yes, those were L's, but let's talk about what the L is. I learned something. It wasn't a loss. Oh, I had great times with those women. When it was good, it was good. When the time was up, the time was up. And I still have respect for them. Luckily, my second wife, we didn't have any kids together. My first wife, we do have kids together. And I respect them both, even though the one, got a bag from me. It is what it is. I'm not bitter. I don't hold that in my heart. I keep it pushing. And I tell you this, I am a habitual blessing counter. So I got a bunch of books that talk about mindset. I don't really focus on like the losses. I look at the lessons that I learned from them, and that's what shapes my life. Like, I'm too busy counting what's good. I'm too busy. I had a $250,000 giveaway. Damn, I mean, it was by force, but I had it, goddamn it, which means I had more, right? And so it's a blessing. I'm too busy counting blessings. Everybody gonna take an L in life. Somewhere in life, you're gonna take an L. So why am I any different? I ain't no different.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. And a lot of people, they don't want to be upfront with that. They don't want to tell the truth. They hide it. You know what I mean? They keep it quiet. But hey, man, salute to you for even keeping it 100, bro. That's all I can say about that. Like, shit, because I've taken L's too. You know what I mean? Not to the tune of 250,000 in one pop, but shit, you add them all up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Business ventures have gone bad and stuff like that. You know, I've lost money. If the family court is my biggest L, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm glad I didn't get married. You know what I mean? But just dealing with, like the whole family court situation and all that, paying for attorneys and all that. Yeah, that adds up. But it's like you say, I was sitting around feeling sorry for myself at one point when this process has been going on for over 5 years. And I can remember sitting down feeling like, man, I got to do all this stuff. I'm hustling. But you know what I mean? I still had a strong back. I still had hustle in me. And it's like you said, like, all right, yeah, they got me. You know what I mean? They got me. But like you said, I was able to pay it. You know what I mean? Still paying it. You got to do what you got to do. And you just keep it pushing. But I agree with Cody in the first place. Man, I wish I had chose properly. I ain't going to lie, because that's something I didn't want to go through. But it did make me, anything that doesn't kill me makes me better. I believe in that. Miss Globe Girl, is she mentally ill? And it's like, here's the deal. It don't matter. And look at Cody, and brother Cody said it. Unfortunately, some dudes will still smash. Yeah, they will. They'll smash the crazy. Not only will they smash, but they'll say it's the best. They're like, crazy people got the best.
Oh, crazy women.
Right. They got the best. And the women say the same thing about the dudes. Like, crazy dudes, they got the best. You know what I mean? But yo, bro, thank you so much for coming on. Let's do final thoughts, bro, because we're coming up on 2 hours. And I know we were all over the place, y'all, but thanks for rocking out with us. We got to talk about politics, manosphere. We talked about dating, talked about business. We kept it all over the place, man. So what are your final thoughts, bro?
Well, first and foremost, brother DL, I appreciate you having me on the show, man. It was a pleasure meeting you just even a couple weeks ago. I feel like I've been knowing you for a long time, because we kind of vibe like that, and I appreciate you having me on your platform. Listen, first and foremost, I am one half of Mindfully Misunderstood, where I co-host the show with my brother Cam Two Official. Please go subscribe, smash the likes, look at the content. We working. We really trying to do some things over there to empower men to essentially go through life from a position of leadership, abundance, and power. And I think that essentially affects positively affects every area of life: wealth, health, and relationships. And I will say this: that listen, I didn't get to say this earlier. Uh, I don't know if the red pill community or the MGTOW or whatever has any kind of ill feelings toward women, but we got at the end of the day, when I look at the yin and the yang, the feminine completes the whole, right? So without women, essentially, we can't be complete. Now, I'm not saying you have to succumb to whatever demands that they put on you. That's where the leadership, abundance, and power come in at. But women are beautiful. Women are lovely to be around. Women are, hey, lovely to smell and taste, and all. They're nice to all five senses. I'm just trying to tell you. But anyhow, that's my piece. Hey, go about life from the position of power, abundance, and leadership. That's my piece right now. And go over to Mindfully Misunderstood. You get more of that.
Right. Right. That's what's up. I'm definitely going to check you out. I'm pretty sure I've already subscribed because you sent me that. The night you sent it to me, I followed right away.
Yeah,
Brother Cody had a response for you, and I'm looking for it right now. Because real talk, Brother Cody is not a troll. He's been on. Oh, here it is right here. He's been on the show. They like the dude keeps it 100. But then it was just a little pushback on what you were saying, or a response, not even pushback, a response. Reed, but you made 2 4 life promises. If it were till death, you die twice. LOL. Also, I'm not here to troll. Just want to keep you straight, no hate. And like I say, he's one of those brothers. He holds me to it. You know what I mean? And it's like so long as he rocks with me, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Because the minute I stray off my course, he's gone. You know what I mean? Because he's like, yo, if I back you, you 100. If you ain't 100, I don't back you. So shout out to you, Brother Cody, and everybody else who rocks out with us. Oh yeah, man.
Can I say something really quickly?
Absolutely, go ahead.
So I read this book called The 4 Agreements, and the second agreement is never take anything personally. And so I live by that. I don't take anything personally because I don't know if people are playing or I don't know what their intentions are sometimes. So I don't take it personally. I just want to address it because I think it's something that, listen, divorce happens every day, man. And at the end of the day, I like to share my story because I will tell you this: I was depressed. That was my first and only experience with depression because I really, really loved that woman. Like, man, look here, look at here, and that thing went so awry.
And you said you filed for divorce, or did she file on that one?
No. So I called. I'm gonna tell you how it played out. I called for it, and she knew I wasn't playing. I said, "Yo, but I'm gonna let the kids. I'm gonna let the kids finish the school year before I file." And she beat me to it to make it seem like she was doing it. She beat me, and I'm like, "Okay, well, shit, it's on there." And it was just it was a lot of pain involved. And I tell you what, man, I going through that and dealing with how I dealt with it. I went through for all 5 stages of grief, and my final stage before we even got divorce finalized, I felt sorry for her because I'm like, you really fucked up. You are fucked up. But I'm gonna pray for you because I'm me, and I can get back whatever I lost, so it's no big deal. But I'm gonna move on, and I stopped taking it personally what she was doing because essentially at that time my problem was external and temporary, and that is right now to this day. She just bought me some shoes from France. I don't talk to her like that. Like
it is what it is. She said, "I still got them shoes for you, baby. Just come on over here and get these shoes." You know what that means.
I went to France, and she asked me what size I wear. I told her run them. Shit, run them shoes. But that just show you, like, you know, who I still like have a place in people's hearts, even though the situation descended, what you call dissolved or what have you. I'm still him. It was just at that time, you know, they weren't really buying into the program. That's cool. That cool. Happens all the time.
And I ain't mad at you. And Brother Michael, one of the mantras we use over here, don't hate the player, hate the game. And then looks like Brother Mark is my favorite devil dog, man. He got a little smoke for you. P.S. Stop hating passport bros. Better recognize. And while they hate, the more the ladies appreciate. So I think y'all got an ongoing thing, because Brother Marcus said this on some other platforms we were on. He was talking about the passport bros and all that. Hey, y'all, thank y'all so much for being here, y'all. For real. Thanks for rocking with us. We had a great interaction in the chat. I can't even go through and read all the names. We're getting to the point where we got so much in the chat I can't even keep up, which is good. That means we're growing. I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. Like I said, we were all over the place, but we touched on some stuff that I really wanted to speak on. We're gonna bring Brother Charles back. Understand that, y'all. He's coming back, and next time he's gonna come back, we're gonna be talking about womanizing, y'all. We're gonna get in it. We're gonna talk about womanizing. We're going to talk about that player life, and we're going to talk about the differences from that life when we were young men to where it is today. Because we made that statement. We say it's easier now than we've ever seen it. We want to explain to y'all what we mean by that. You know what I mean? And like you said, it's like we've known each other forever, man. We ain't even met in person yet. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
I feel at home on here, man. I want to put my feet up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can I put my feet up?
Absolutely. Like, yes, you can. You're gonna sit back, put my feet up, man. Bring me a drink over here. Let's talk. So thanks to everybody, man. Good night to all. We really appreciate it, man. This is Sir Charles. I'm DL Saint. This is the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Peace.
Darn, that's the end.